Hey YouTube, it's your girl Nick coming to you right quick with a movie review. Coming to you in my best Walmart 90 as I prepare myself because tomorrow's another day. Working hard for the man. So, had a whole lot of fun this weekend. Appreciated this day off. But it's back to the grind tomorrow, so gotta shut it down a little early and try to get a good night's rest. But anyway, back to the video at hand. We're here to discuss this movie I just watched. It's called Honk Once for Jesus, I believe, or Honk for Jesus. It stars Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown. I remember seeing a little bit of press about the movie, I want to say about 2 months ago. And I knew that it was coming out soon, but and I knew that it was coming on some kind of streaming app, but or streaming service, but I wasn't too sure. So a week and a half ago, they started ramped up the promotions or whatever, and so that I saw that it was coming on Peacock. I said, "Oh, okay, I'll watch it." And at first, I was all gung ho to watch, and they said it was coming out Labor Day weekend. I said, "All right, I'm gonna watch it." I want to say I spoke about the movie to my sister just yesterday. And so she was saying that a lot of people were saying that it was so good, right? I'm going to say a scale of 5 stars. This is what I'm going to give it. Creativity, out of 5 stars, I'll give creativity 5. The plot line, I'll give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Overall, the whole movie and everything, overall, I'm only going to give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The job that Regina and Sterling did with what they were given, 10 out of 10 stars. Because Regina's ability to go from doing something funny to getting real serious about the topic at hand was really, really good. She really conveyed that. She did an awesome job with that. But I didn't like that ending. I guess the ending was left up to you. And spoiler alert, I didn't see a whole lot of people talk about the movie. I did see like a clip of one scene where they were in the car and they were singing "Nuck If You Buck," and it was like the song came on and he sung the whole first verse by the guy, and then the female verse comes on, and as he's doing it, she's sitting there looking poised and serious, like no, he's not singing this song. But then when the female part comes in, I think that's Diamond. No, that was Princess from the Crime Mob crew. That was Princess. But I think her name was Princess. But she rapped that whole verse, right? And yo, we knucking and bucking and ready to fight. Wow, it took me back to my youth. But anyway, that part was so funny. Because it was like everybody tried to sing all the words to Nuck If You Buck when they come on. I mean, if you're my age or maybe a little bit younger and you're familiar with the song. It's the get you riled up type of song, Everybody knows that. But anyway, back to the movie itself. The way the movie is filmed, it's filmed like this mega church went through a scandal or is in the midst of a scandal. And when it starts, you don't know what the scandal is. You just see like news reports talking about they in the midst of a scandal, but you don't really see what the scandal is. And then it goes on for a few minutes, maybe like 10 minutes or so, I want to say. And then it comes out that it was a sexual scandal, sexual misconduct scandal. I said, oh, okay. And as soon as I saw that, I said to myself, no, that they said it was a sexual misconduct scandal, right? And then it's a scene of him and her in the bed. And she want to do a little something, and he flips her over to her stomach. And she said, "Can we do it the regular way today?" And when he goes in to do it the regular way, he can't stay up. And he asks her to go do the other thing that she does. And she goes down in the bed. Now, I don't know if when she went down there, because we only see his face and him reacting to whatever she's doing. So it's left up to you to determine if she's giving him oral or is she doing something with his anus, okay? Playing pokey pokey in the poopy shoot. So a little rim job, if you will, I guess she might have been doing. Um, Once that happened, I said, "Oh crap, the sexual misconduct is gonna be with boys." And then I said, I looked because my mom and I watched it together, and her face, she was just throughout the whole movie, which lets me know she did not enjoy it at all. She did the funny parts that was funny. She like stuff that was funny to me. She didn't find the humor in it. Then it started to get serious. To me, they started to tackle more serious stuff, and she was just still sitting there. And look, she didn't enjoy this movie at all. She huffed and puffed way too much through it. But anyway, after she went down on him, her name was Trinity, and her name is Trinity Childs. His name is Lee Curtis Childs. After she did that to him, I said, he gay. And they showed him preaching this sermon, the whole sermon, fire and brimstone. But he didn't say fire. He didn't preach fire and brimstone. He just preached that, God is meant for men and women to be together, and you're not gonna get no blessings if you're not in a heterosexual relationship. If you're in a homosexual relationship, you're not gonna get the blessings. That's what he said. But he didn't really say fire and brimstone, death upon you, and all that kind of stuff. He just said you wouldn't be blessed. And I'm not sure if that part came before the bedroom scene. I can't remember. But I will say, once that happened, I know once that bedroom scene happened, I said, "Oh, he gay." And the people that he supposed to be paying off, because by this time we heard about them trying to pay somebody off, and they was in negotiations and stuff. I looked at my mom. I said, "I bet you this is based on a little bit of what happened with Bishop Eddie Long." And if you are somebody who's watching me who isn't familiar with what happened with him, his church was called New Rebirth or the Rebirth something church. It was in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia, outside of Atlanta. I don't know, because as Amaretta said, East Point is not Atlanta. Something is not Atlanta. So I don't know, but it's down there somewhere. It came out that Eddie Long was messing with, like, under the guise of mentoring them. He was paying and taking care of all these young men that he had done sexual things to. And they were saying that the boys brought a case or a lawsuit against him. And I think it was because one of the boys found out, and they had it in this movie as well. In the movie, the boy's name was Khalil. In the movie, it was 4 accusers, and 3 accusers was ready to settle. The boy Khalil was not budging. He didn't want to settle. It was like, and there was a part in the movie where we actually see the boy Khalil, and he comes up to Lee Curtis, played by Sterling Brown. He approached him and he said, "Yeah, you said you was gonna do this, you was gonna do that, and I had the fresh shoes. That's your thing, right? You go for the young boys who don't have much, who don't have nothing, and they ain't got no cheese, they ain't got no bread, they poor, basically, and they destitute. So you can manipulate them by giving them things and saying, I can hook you up with this person and get you where you want to be in your life, the mentoring part, and then you come on to them and you make them to believe that they the special boy, they the only one." And this boy found out that he was not the only one. And I think once he found out he was not the only one, this is what happens in the movie. Once he found out that he was not the only one, maybe he rallied with the other boys and they decided to expose Lee Curtis. And once they wanted to do that, because they lost their congregation after that, just like what happened in real life with Rebirth. They lost their people for a minute, I think. But then people came right back. It wasn't a long time that they lost members. People came back. People were still going to the church and all that kind of stuff. But it was a big whoop de do. And it's crazy that they always say what's done in the dark always comes to light at some point. But it was so crazy that this all happened. They settled out of court in real life as well with Bishop Eddie Long, as far as I can remember. And he went back to the pulpit. I think they might have got a new church location. And he went back to preaching. And when he came back, he was significantly smaller than he was beforehand, before it all happened. And I remember they was passing it off as he on this new vegan diet. And that's how he's losing the weight so fast. So, um, I'm I don't know how much time passed in between that all happening and him coming back, but he wasn't back in the church for a long time until he got smaller and smaller and he ended up passing away. I don't know if they ever confirmed whether it was he died from maybe HIV/AIDS related complications or if it was cancer, but I will say that he lost a significant amount of weight very fast, and next thing you know, he was gone. He was deceased. Um, I don't know how it affected his real life wife. I don't even remember if he actually had kids, because the people in the movie they didn't have any children. It was just the wife and the husband, and in the movie they ended up settling and paying the guys off. And then we get to a scene where the guy that do, what do they call the people? The boom grips or whatever to hold the microphone. We see him and the character Curtis, Lee Curtis. What a name, Lee Curtis. We see Lee Curtis in the gymnasium for the church. We hear somebody else speaking about another young man. He was a student at Georgia Tech. I forgot what they said his name was. He was speaking about the fact that, he was a part of the church and he used to always go down there because he liked to be in the youth basketball league via the church. Like, this man had done so much for the community, built up the whole community, done so much for the church or whatever. And then there was another couple, they were called the Sumters. They started out going to church with, under the Childs, Lee Curtis Childs and Trinity Childs. And they branched out on their own. They got another church. And basically, the people were there. Her name, the director of this reality show, documentary, or whatever it was supposed to be, leading up to the reopening of the church. The church was called, what's it called? Gathered or something? I think the initials was like GTSB or something like that. Gather the pasture or gather by pasture. Something to that effect. Wanderers. That's what it was. WTB. Wanderers something Baptist Church. Or something to that effect. I don't. That's neither here nor there. But this other couple, the Sumters, they were a younger couple. They left their church and they went and started their own church. And I forgot what their church was called as well. But they had a small church, and because because of the scandal at the Childs' church, a lot of their congregation left them and went with the Sumters. The Sumters, they needed a bigger space to hold all those people. So for a year, they've been planning and building this new church, and they was going to open the new church on Easter Sunday. The Childs, that was when Pastor Lee Childs was going to reopen his church, was Easter Sunday as well. And that's what this whole documentary type show, reality show, was about. They were filming them because he was trying to do it to draw attention to himself and to announce him coming back after the scandal or whatever, because they tried to keep it quiet about him paying the boys off and all that kind of stuff like that. So at one point, we see the wife, played by Regina Hall. Her name was Trinity. She goes to the mall. She goes to the store where everybody go buy their church lady hat. It was called Bathsheba's Bonnets. She found this one particular hat. The director made sure the camera person, when she found a hat that she liked, and she put it on, and she talked about the netting and the lace and the pearls and the stuff that's on the hat, and how much work goes into making them. She put it on. She was like, "It's so beautiful." She put the hat on, and the director made sure that the cameraman zoomed in on the price. The hat was $2,367, if I'm not mistaken. And as she was trying the hat on and looking in the mirror, when she looked in the mirror, she could see into the mall, and there was some guys inside the mall, not in the store, but just in the middle of the mall. And she zoomed in on one face, and I said, "Oh crap, that's probably one of the accusers right there, one of the guys." And so that's when she asked them to turn the cameras off. Don't follow her, don't record her, don't do anything. She just wanted to get up. She tried to sneak off and just watch and see what they was doing in the mall or whatever, which she ended up doing. And she sat around watching them for a while. And there was one guy that they was focused in on. When they first panned to the guy's face, you know who I thought it was? Now, I'm not familiar with all their music. I've seen like one or two videos. But the Walls group, the brother that's in that group, not the oldest one who had the scandal where he uploaded to his close friends list. He was kissing his boyfriend at the time. And somebody took that video from the close friends group on Instagram from their stories and put it out there for the world to see, to know that the boy is gay. And I felt like that was so wrong. You don't out a person like that, but that happened. Well, not that brother, whatever his name is. It's the younger brother. I thought this person in the movie was that one playing this role, but it wasn't. When they zoomed in on them in the food court, I said, "Oh, I don't think that's the guy. I don't think that's him from the group." But anyway, that all happens, and it's just like it was a couple of moments that was cool and funny, but it was more serious issues at hand. One, the wife, as old folks say, and I've even heard when I was a member of a church, I've even heard my pastor say it. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, which is the man. But he wouldn't be able to hold his head up and wear that crown if it wasn't for the spine and the neck, which is the woman who's being the base and the support and holding him up. And that's what I got from Trinity's character. She was carrying around so much. One, she's in a marriage where she's not sexually satisfied because whatever it is that he normally like to do, which I'm guessing is anal, because that's why she said, "Can we do it the regular way for a change?" And then when she want to do that, he can't keep it up, so she got to go and do something to him, whatever that may be, and he get off, but she doesn't get off. If you know what I'm saying, that's one thing. She poured her everything into this man, to this marriage, to this ministry, and like I said, it's a lot on her shoulders, and she's basically, I feel like she had wanted to get divorced. Excuse me. The Sumters was saying that they prayed because it was rumors about them getting divorced. The Sumters said they prayed for God to bring them back together, and so that's when they reconciled or whatever. The Childs couple reconciled, but it was a scene where the husband eventually fell asleep, because because they eventually fall asleep. She sees he's asleep. She picks up her phone. She calls somebody. The next morning, you see her outside on in the grass with a plate of some biscuits and tea or whatever they have. She talking to a woman. It's her mom. she wants to talk to her mom because she saying she don't know if she can do it. Like she really want. She talking to her mom and she wants to get it. She said she don't know if they're gonna make it through this. The mom told her she was dumb basically, and like that type of mother would do, typically do. They want to encourage you to stick it out because what you show on to the world on the outside is the bee's knees. Like y'all a mega church, y'all got money, you got this, you got notoriety, and all that kind of stuff, and you just keep praying for God to change your husband and for you to be able to weather this marriage and stick it out. And she told her she was stupid if she wanted to leave. She said she heard a bunch of stupidness or dumb something. She said something ignorant like that. Called that girl stupid for wanting to leave because she's not happy. And I think she really wants him. She wants him to have his church, but she want him to. She know her husband. He not finished. He don't have it out of his system. It's just in him. And I had started to say something about it earlier when I was talking, but when that young man that said he was currently a student in Georgia Tech at the time, and he got there with a basketball scholarship, and he started in the youth league at the church. They showed the pastor and the guy that hold the microphone. They showed them two, and the guy was holding the mic and talking to him while he was getting ready to shoot the balls or whatever. Next thing you know, he comes out of his shirt and he had the tank top on under, and he started to shoot some balls. And then he looked at the guy. He goes up to the guy and he said, "How young are you? Like 19?" And the guy said, "I'm 26 actually." And the pastor says, "Oh." Once we get this documentary up and going or whatever, when we put this out, you come back and you see me, I'm going to put you on the audio visual board at the church. And then, because I got connections, I got people that can help you. And he goes up to the guy and he does like this on his face. Kind of like, and the guy said, and he said something about, ooh, scruffy. He said, because, teach you how to shave, right? So you won't have scruff, and you got to moisturize to keep yourself looking young and all that. He was telling the guy. And then the guy said, well, I keep it like this because my boyfriend likes it like this. And that's when the pastor backed up. I said, wow. Sterling, he did very great with what he was given as far as the dialogue and all that kind of stuff for this. And it wasn't so much all about the dialogue. It was the mannerisms and the switch on and off real quick from a predator to preacher, predator to preacher, predator to preacher, predator. It was just wow to me. I said, wow. And then that's when the guy got up and was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go. And he happened to look up and he saw the wife looking from the outside. So she came in, the guy left, took the mic and left. And he yelled and screamed because she had a moment when she came in. When she was at the mall that day, she ran into somebody named Danetta that was a member of the church. And Danetta goes to the Sumter's church now. And she let Trinity know that the Sumters were reopening on Easter Sunday, which is the same day that they was going to reopen their church. And they knew that if that happened, then they probably wasn't going to get nobody to their church. So they took upon themselves. When she came, she was going to tell him that when she got to the church. But at the moment, he was already on the phone with the church attorney, who was already getting the boys to sign the papers and what they was going to put in the NDA and all that kind of stuff for them to settle this case, this lawsuit. She didn't tell him that night. She told him this night, which was weeks had passed. And he said, is that what you wanted to tell me that day and you didn't tell me? I said, oh, crap. So she said, she lied and said, no, she had called to make an appointment to get her hair done for their Easter Sunday service. And the hairdresser, knowing everybody's business, let her know that the other church was opening too on Easter Sunday. So they took it upon themselves to leave their church, go drive over to the other church, And Bum Rush, that other couple was in the middle of doing some kind of premarital counseling or marriage counseling. And there was a couple sitting there ready to go in with the Sumters. But they was like, no, they so young, they look like they got forever. We won't take too much of your time. Can we just come in and talk? So they go in front of the Sumters, and the Sumters was thinking that they coming in to get marital counseling. They say, no, we not here for that. We here because we heard that y'all reopening. I mean, not reopening, but y'all opening y'all new church location on Easter Sunday. And I had planned to reopen my church on Easter Sunday. And we think that y'all should consider switching the dates so that we can reopen and get the people to come to our church. I said, oh, wow. The audacity. Capital letters, period in between each letter. The Sumter's wife said, oh, no, no, no. This has been a year in the making, and we fought too long to do that. What we can do, though, we can come together and say a prayer for both of us that there's enough souls to go around that both of our churches will be filled come Easter Sunday. So the Sumters put their hands together to hold hands and reach over to the child's couple to hold their hands. Trinity says, oh no, we are two, we are gathered, and y'all are two, and y'all are gathered. So y'all go ahead and do your prayer. I said, oh, you wench. Okay. So the Sumters went on to pray, and they get out of that scene. So Pastor Charles decides they're going to have roadside service outside in front of the church. She got a sign up saying honk for Jesus, and it had a scripture at the bottom of it. And he on the megaphone talking, yelling at the cars, and then getting people to honk and, trying to get people to come. So all of a sudden he decides, you know what? I got an idea. We're going to open this Sunday, not on Easter Sunday. And I got a sermon to give so good that I'm going to make them want to come on Easter Sunday here instead of going to the other people's church. Lo and behold, Easter Sunday comes, and which would have been Palm Sunday. He was going to open on Palm Sunday. Every day leading up to that day out there, she in her heels. And a couple days before, he was like, "We gotta do something. We need to do something." It's like I'm not feeling like we're gonna get the people. I'm not feeling it. It's something missing. And he do like this. I said, "What he doing?" I said, "That's what a mom does." But the way her face is like, I don't want to do that. I was like trying to figure out what it is that he wanted her to do, that she had the face like, I'm not doing that. But that's exactly what he wanted her to do. He wanted her to paint her face and mom on the side of the road. So she out there doing it. She ain't want to do it, but she doing it. To music, she got something playing music out there, and she doing it. And then the first song she does it to is "Never Would Have Made It" by Marvin Sapp. I was about to say Marvin Gaye. But anyway, car ride up and stops in front of them. It's the guy we saw at the mall in the driver's side, and another little guy with twists, 2 strands in his hair. She looking. She said, "Khalil." And we never saw him, but we heard he was the person that was holding up the settlement proceedings, right? He gets out. He confronts the pastor. And Sterling K. Brown eyes get real, real red and glossy, because I think he thought that this boy was about to put it all out there what actually happened. And that's when the young man says about, he thought he was the only one. You know how to go for the young ones. That's when all that whole shebang came out. And so that happens. And then here come Easter Sunday. They standing in front of their church with the film crew, waiting for people to come in. So we see them, nobody's there, except for this one family. I forgot I think their names was the Carpenters or the Covingtons or something. They are there. The woman plays the organ. The husband talks. It was a little girl. She's in theater, and she was doing performative art at the beginning, falling out. Like the pastor then gave her a word that made her pass out to jump up and scream and get spirit filled and all that kind of stuff. And this is a little child, like a little girl, like 8, no more than 8. And it was like a son, and the little girl belonged to the daughter, I guess, of the older couple. But anyway, those people show up for church. That's 5. And the wife said, well, looks like we're going to have at least 5 people here. And he said, no, we not talking about them. We knew they was coming. I feel it in my soul. They going to come. The people coming. It's going to be like 500. The people coming. The people coming. So he hoped. Then we go see the other church. The Sumter's church is filled with people, okay? Filled. And they had decided, they said they went into deep prayer and decided they're going to go ahead and try to give the Childses the best shot by not opening on Easter Sunday and instead opening on Palm Sunday as well. I said, oh crap. So the best laid plans always get screwed up. You know, what God means to happen is going to happen. Whatever you try to do to make it go a certain way, not a certain way, but go the way you want it to go. God always got the final say. I remember years ago, somebody I made friends with told me, write your plans down in pencil because God always can do something to change them. It's never going to go the way you go. Think, you make plans, God laughs. But anyway, we see their church filled with all these people. And they said they're so thankful that the people chose to come, and hopefully what they're doing will make it so that the next weekend, which would be Easter, everybody would flock over to Pastor Lee Curtis Childs' church. I don't think they had any idea that they screwed up his plan because he had already decided that he was going to do Palm Sunday as well. And then they pan back to lead child standing there in the front saying they're going to come. We see a car drive up, and the car, he said, see, there they go coming in. And the car spent and started doing donuts in the parking lot and then scurried off real quick. And he got his eyes closed looking up to the sky, and he praying for the people to come to church, and the movie goes off. I said, I ain't mean for this to be over 30 minutes, but I was just like, that's how it's going to go off? I guess it's going to be left up to our interpretation of whether or not he made the big comeback that he was trying to make. This movie, my mom said she hated it. As soon as it went on, she said, what the hell was that? She hated it. I watched it trying to understand and trying to see all the things they wanted us to see and trying to, not just what they wanted us to see, I was trying to get the message that they was trying to convey with the movie. I truly believe that the movie was a satire based on some of the stuff that went on with Bishop Eddie Long and what is it called, New Rebirth or whatever, because a pastor from here, a pastor famous for being in Baltimore, Jamal Bryant, he went down there and he's been the pastor at New Birth. I kept saying Rebirth. I think it's called New Birth. He's the pastor down there. He became the pastor after Eddie Long passed away. But the crazy thing is Jamal Bryant has his own scandals and stuff that happened here. And then he went down there and became the pastor over that church. And if y'all don't know, go and look it up. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, I had family members that was going to Jamal's past church here in Baltimore. And I mean, I got a close cousin. She older than me. And she was just like, the women at that church, how they would be. about him. You know how after the services over, they have the greeting line where the pastor greet the congregations and stuff. She said while they was in that line, well, for him to greet everybody, it would be women in that line talking about how they would, like, the sexual things they would do to him if he even looked their way or offered, like made it seem like he'd be interested in them. And I was like, what? She was like, yes. Like, men, women love a man in power, yes. But she was just saying, like, I said, inside the church, they talking like this. And she said, yes, inside the church, they are talking like this. I was just like, His church here was called the Empowerment Temple, if you didn't know. But yeah, I mean, when the Freddie Gray thing happened and they was out there rioting, he went down to the center of it. And I don't know if the guy was a gang member or not, but the guy was trying to get the kids rallied and trying to get them to be calm and not tear up the city and stuff. And the guy got in his face, got in Jamal Bryant's face. Like, you ain't never down here. You only down here because the cameras are here. You're not really for your people. And I believe some of what he said because, like, two of my aunts also went to that church, but they both have sons. One of my aunts, her son was in sports. He was having some different things going on. Every time they reached out to him or to his people to try to get him to show up for the son, and he was supposedly good friends with her husband, the son's father, he would never show up. They said that he was only showing up and doing stuff for his close circle of people at that time, like funerals and all those things like that. Like, if you wasn't in his inner circle, he wasn't preaching your funeral or nobody in your family's funeral. His assistant pastors and all that kind of stuff would do that. Like, he wasn't doing all that stuff. He only did things for his close circle, like the people that's he here and the people that's right here surrounding him. He's here, my finger. He was only doing stuff for them. So I remember when it came out, a woman in the middle of service, Sunday service, the morning service, she walked down the middle of the aisle and yelling and screaming that he had gotten her 17-year-old granddaughter pregnant, and the granddaughter had gave birth to a baby boy. Now, I was not there for none of this, but it was so many people talking about it, and they said it definitely happened. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm just saying that for Jamal Bryant to go from all that scandal at Empowerment Temple and go down and be the leader and head pastor at New Birth, it was just like, you know, and you all know about Giselle if you watch Real Housewives of Potomac. I remember I didn't really hear much about her until Real Housewives of Potomac, but I could never imagine what she went through during that time with all that stuff going on. Like, as a woman and as a wife to have to go through all of that. Like, that could not have been easy. And I just wish her the best. But yeah, I said all that, talking all this long time to say it was a lot of serious issues and serious, not just issues, but serious subject matter in this movie. And I think that they promoted it as a comedy. But to me, it was more satire about mega churches and scandal and how they handle scandal and all that. And what's wrong with the mega church and, you know, all that stuff like that. Like I said, you watch it for yourself. This was a spoiler because I told you the gist of the movie and all what happened and everything. But you tell me what you thought of it if you watched it, and we could talk in the comment section. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons on your way in or on your way out. And I see y'all in my next video. I'm about to get myself together to go to bed because, like I said, work in the morning. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.